One, my mom gets called a murderer. They say that she's money hungry. They say that she needs more fame. My mom doesn't, like, that's not how my mom is. But I trust me when I say my mom is good. Like, she doesn't need that. And it's just disappointing because the people that Steven was truly closest to, the people he held in regards to being his best friends, we talk to every week. The holidays just happened. I've seen all the people that I care about and need to see. I was never adopted. I never had the last name Boss, and I know my siblings do, but I don't. And my last name, my legal last name, isn't even what is my handle. It's just my middle name because I don't go by Boss or my last name. So, and I never have, but that was just like, we were addressed as the Boss family. Like, that's what it was. And that, like, I had that Instagram handle since I was a child, like a toddler, and that's just not me. And so, yeah, I can get the hate for changing it, but, like, for instance, like, my mom never had hers as Boss. My mom's always been addressed as Allison Holker. Besides when they were, like, together, it'd be, like, the Mr. and Mrs. Boss. But they had completely separate, careers, and they were addressed completely, like, separately. But, yeah, when we were all together, like, I had siblings. We were the Boss family. Like, that's the name that my siblings are going to have, and that's what they're going to carry on. But even Steven's family, like, his parents, they don't have the last name Boss. But I don't know. Everyone's pushing for this narrative that my mom's not trying or the kids are being withheld from Steven's family. No. No. I've literally seen them more than when Steven was alive. But when I did see them, when Steven was around, like, it was cool. We were a family, like, but it was like we lived in different states. We saw each other for big events, like birthdays and family reunions, gatherings, like stuff like that. And it was, but like now looking back on it, like it just seems like, I don't know, everyone's making things such a bigger deal than it actually is. And I just don't like that the narrative is that my mom's a bad person for things that she's actively trying on, but yet they refuse to speak about it. So what's the point in that? Because I know that they don't see me, but that's my choice. My mom's literally pushing for the kids to be able to see them whenever they can, but you guys lie about it. So like I don't get it. Y'all love to argue about the NDAs. Basically, not backstory, because like that's what the whole story is, but in one day we had an open casket like viewing for Steven. We had a funeral, and then we had a wake. And my mom asked for NDAs to be signed when we were seeing Steven's body, because God forbid somebody that went to that took a photo of Steven and put it on the internet, or shared it with somebody else. That's the type of things that NDAs are for. It's not so you can never talk about Steven. You can't ever talk about, you grieving him. You can't post about it. That's not what it is. And for all the people saying it, I just feel like you're uneducated. I'm sorry. But like, truly, I'm fed up because NDAs are so important. And if you guys don't agree, that's cool. I'm grateful for my mom making sure that everybody signed NDAs and she put up that rule. But also, regardless, some people didn't even sign the NDAs. And my mom was lenient because she understands at the end of the day, like, this is family. So y'all want to disrespect her. And she's still nice. She's still kind. She's still forgiving. But you have to know, like, even when Steven was alive, people that attended our events, they would have to sign NDAs. But now, just because it's my mom handing the paper, y'all, like, it's different. That whole day was supposed to be beautiful, and instead it was less than that. Like, we were gonna say our goodbyes, and instead people were yelling at each other and bashing my mom, and like, that's a day that's taken away from her, and she can't remember it as being the day that we all wanted it to be because his family was making it otherwise. And like, when I say that this day, like, it's imprinted onto my brain. Like, one, because I had to say goodbye to the person that I loved and valued. But then on top of that, I'm having to deal with seeing my mom go through so much. Like, it's a different type of hurt. Because these are people that we're supposed to love and value. And yet, they're constantly doing things that make me see them as like less. Like they're the ones impacting that image. But they're also the ones taking onto social media. So I just don't get it, because my mom's been respectful. My mom's kept her P's and Q's, and I'm just not. This is like built up of 2 years worth of stuff. I don't know where it started, but I'm constantly getting comments being like, your mom didn't let Connie see the body for 3 weeks and something like that. But it's like, everybody who wanted to see the body had access to that information. My mom didn't want to. My mom, she stayed out of that. My mom didn't want anything to do, because that's a traumatizing thing. And so somebody else had that information to go and see Steven's body from after he died until he was like, like they fixed up how he looked and stuff. But until that point, I remember like conversations being had of like Connie asking about it, but then everybody, literally everybody, being like advising against it, because that's your son, you might not want to go see him. But with that all being said, she could have completely on her own terms gone and seen him. My mom wasn't withholding information. That's like, also, my mom never said that Steven was an addict. Let me say that. Never said that he was an addict. But if y'all want to take a headline for a news article and turn that into being the thing that you're paying attention to most, that's literally on you, right? But in our house, how he ran things, like, I'm his kid. He was trying to like teach me and educate, like obviously like be that fatherly role, right? So he'd be open and vulnerable about him smoking weed. Also, my mom's not calling him a terrible person for smoking weed. Like, guys, let's get it together. But when you have 2 years after somebody committed suicide to sit here and question every interaction you had, every single thing they did, obviously my mom's like, maybe I should have paid. My relationship with Steven is irreplaceable, and that's just how I see it. And I don't know, because I've tried my best to delete comments and not respond, but it led me to be on a live. So ugh, guys.